Good morning, everyone. Reverend Brennan's health is improving after her return from the mainland, but she's not yet able to attend our service, so Prudence is going to conduct the service. And Prudence Cusano is one of our certified ministers' lay assistants. So that's going to be great. Good morning and welcome to the service. My name is Linda, and I'll be your MC. This is a family service today. We'll begin with the ringing of the temple bell or concho that signifies the beginning of a temple service. It's a deep and sacred ritual steeped in ancient tradition. It is the calling of the people to come together to listen to the Dharma or teachings. The temple bell represents the gratitude and deep appreciation of the members, friends, and guests of the Windward Buddhist Temple. Please sit quietly in your seat. Please rise for the meditation, followed by the chanting of the Vandana and Tisarana by the congregation in Pali and English, and this can be found in page 165 of the Brown Praises of the Buddha book. Please be seated. Please turn to page 112 in the red Jodo Shinshu service book for the Sutra Praises of the Buddha.
No.
One.
Your face shines in great splendor, boundless, wondrous dignity, such the greatness of your light, beyond all comparison. Brightness of the sun and moon, and the shining money jewels, when compared to your brilliance, seem to us like blackest ink. Tathagata's countenance transcends all comparison. The great voice of awakening resounds through the 10 quarters. Your precepts, learning, effort, meditation, wisdom are virtues beyond all compare, ultimate, supreme, and rare. Your deep meditation has fathomed all the Dharma sea to the limits and the depths of all things the Buddhas teach. Ignorance, anger, and greed, the world-honored one has none. Like a lion among men, measureless your great virtues, vast are your great virtuous deeds, wisdom deep and so sublime, your radiant luminous light shakes all the world's foundations. When I become a Buddha, equal to the Dharma King, I will transcend birth and death, liberating all beings. My giving, disciplined mind, precepts, patience, and effort, meditation, and wisdom shall be supreme, unsurpassed. I will attain Buddhahood, everywhere fulfill my vow, bringing to all those in fear great peace and tranquility. Through there are myriad Buddhas, beyond measure, beyond count. The great sages numberless, like the grains of Ganges sand. I will honor each of them equally, accepting none. Even more importantly, I will seek the supreme way, even though all Buddha worlds are countless as Ganges sands, even though all lands and realms are boundless without measure, yet my light shall reach them all and illumine every place. Such shall be my perfect work, such my power infinite. When I attain Buddhahood, my land will be first and best, place of practice transcendent, its people sublime and rare, land equal to nirvana, beyond all comparison, with pity for everyone, I will carry all across, all who come from 10 quarters, to be born into my land, to attain pure joyful mind, peace and great tranquility. Be my witness, Buddha, please confirm my sincerity. Now that I have made my vows, I will strive to fulfill them. Buddhas of the 10 quarters, with your wisdom unhindered, may all of these honored ones know my deepest intention, even though my body must bear great pain and suffering. I will persevere and strive patiently without regret. Namanda Bu. Namanda Bu. Namanda
rise and turn to page 4 in the same Jodo Shinshu service book, the red book, for recitation creed number 2. Casting off the self-power mind
of the varied practices and disciplines, we entrust ourselves single-mindedly to Amida Tathagata to save us in regard to the one great manner of birth. In a moment of entrusting, we know that we are saved and that our birth is settled. After this, we say the name in joy and gratitude, repaying the Buddha's graciousness. We acknowledge gratefully that we are able to hear and understand this teaching because of the benevolence of our Master having appeared in this world and of the successors in the transmission, the good teachers whose words were not shallow. Beyond this, we will observe the established rules of conduct throughout our lives.
Namandat, Namandat. Please continue to stand for the Gatha on this morn on page 119 of the Brown Book. Please be seated. Today's Dharma talk, our speaker will be Jennifer Koenig.
Good morning. Please join me in aspiration. We take refuge in Amida Buddha, whose wisdom and compassion is so complete that we are known and accepted just as we are. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. I actually wrote this Dharma talk at the beginning of last year, 2022. The message is just as relevant today as we embark on another new year and we welcome 2023. As I sat last year, Sunday morning in March, which I procrastinated and was finally reading our temple's January-February 2022 newsletter, something in me softened and opened. And I let go of that closed offness and some of the fear of the past almost 2 years of the COVID isolation project. I read our President Prudence Kusano 2022 welcome message, which highlighted many positives that had occurred due to the ongoing months of the temple's closure. I looked at the names of fellow temple members on page 5 of the Mahalo section, and I did notice my name was missing as well. I'd been delayed and infrequent in mailing my pledge, oshoko, and other monetary donations. Yes, partly because of financial challenges, but also it was due to my own experience with COVID fatigue, which had had an effect of increasing disorganization and procrastination for me. I had been hearing so many stories from people who had done so many home projects and gotten organized. They started exercise routines, so many wonderful positive things that happened to so many folks due to the COVID lockdowns. Isolation and all the such, it seemed to have a positive effect, and they got so many things done. It was really impressive. I didn't have such luck with my response or my ability to adjust. My time commitments had not changed. I was an essential C worker and having all needed physical items to continue my job being at an office. My routine was basically exactly the same, other than what we all were experiencing with anxiety, and fear and all these things that we had. At first, I was a bit jealous when I heard of all the workers who got time off, a COVID vacation plan. Then, as it dragged on and so many jobs were being lost, I became grateful for the gift of a job that didn't change that much. Then, as time kept dragging on with this COVID isolation project, I became really fearful and angry, and that anxiety increased when a coworker exposed me to COVID 2 days in a row. They did so knowingly and with 2 different conflicting stories about it. So I got exposed to the Delta variant and was literally lied to about it. This was simultaneously the opposite of a light bulb moment, as well as a light bulb moment for me. I say this because it shined brightly and brought forth many past hurtful and confusing life situations and events, some of which were hidden in the dark within my own mind as tucked away old memories. Old, confusing, and hurtful past events from my life, many of which were with the same coworker person. That's what I meant by a non-light bulb effect, as it brought back a darkness of emotion. Old and ignored hurts were forced out into the light. If you're familiar with the term triggered, then you know what happened to me. Many things in our life are just too much to deal with in the moment that they occur, and they get tucked away deep in our memory bank, just somewhere hidden. We kind of forget about them, but they're just still there. PTSD events, along with others that maybe weren't so harmful, all go into hibernation. Then something triggers your memory and a flood of remembering occurs. This can be quite overwhelming. This is when I reached out for help, and thankfully, one of the other many silver linings that the COVID and the pandemic had brought for us was telehealth. I was referred to a wonderful therapist who I was able to meet weekly in the safe haven of my own home. Now, enough of that with me and my triggers. Back to the 2022 Sunday morning reading that I sat there in March, last year, of our temple's newsletter. On page 7, Dr. Warren Tamamoto, Honpanji Hongwanji Mission of Hawaii's president, his New Year message included these words: Buddhism teaches us that all things are impermanent, everything changes, and that the root of suffering is attachment. However, Shinran reminded us that we are all bonbu, foolish beings, and we still have attachments. These words reminded me that I cause additional suffering to myself when I lean into past hurtful events. And I share that each time I talk about it, the hurt feelings, just being hurt, the insults, my judgments and criticisms, confusions, past violations from others, etc., etc. In doing this, I keep myself attached, and then I suffer. Can I erase things that have happened? No. Can I change my focus and perhaps have less of the non-light bulb moments of darkness and despair? Yes, with practice. Our Bishop, Reverend Eric Matsumoto, also wrote a 2022 New Year's message, which was on page 6. And these are a few things that stood out for me. However, let us not despair. Please always fully understand that Amida Buddha, as Namo Amida Butsu, is always with us embracing us as a great compassion. Bishop Matsumoto shared about an Oahu Hongwanji member who was always so grateful for the food she ate every day. She couldn't help but place her hands together in gasho to express her appreciation and gratitude to the plants and the animals for their gift of life, and to all others who played a role in her receiving her meals each day. She was aware of the so many other lives which surrounded and supported her. She had to try to live her life as best she could out of appreciation and gratitude. Further, in Bishop Matsumoto's message, he reminds us that although we have not had the physical connections during the time of the pandemic, that there are many other ways to connect. And just as precious thoughts, wishes, aspirations were shared through the written words of Lady Ishini and Lady Kakushini, and of course Shinran Shonen, we can also connect by writing as well. That prompted me to write this message back in 2022. When I read that, I said, I started writing. Bishop Matsumoto posed these questions. What is most precious to you? What are the best memories you have? Well, it's by experience that I cannot think of one precious or one best while I'm allowing myself to dwell in the darkness of despair. They're just not reachable in those moments. Spending a moment, an hour, a day, or days, or months, or years in darkness of hurt blocks out the ability to recall what is most precious or to reach into those best moments. I have discovered that these joyful things are simply not accessible to me while I dwell in anger or fear. This brings me to page 1 and the 2010-22 New Year's message from our Reverend Bert Sumikawa. The Buddha taught that all things are constantly changing and that we should let go of our attachments, meaning that we should let go of our fears, which are sometimes exaggerated. The truth of life is becoming in everything. We must constantly grow. In this changing world, if we refuse to change, there comes a struggle and suffering. We should accept all changes that come so that we can be born anew. Each has its own beauty, each has its own place. Every moment is living, and it is a natural life. Living in the truth is living in Buddha's world, which is naturalness. Shinran Shonen uses the term jinin honi, which is to live naturally according to the Dharma. If we live in jinin honi, we will have a life of naturalists, free of attachment, free of struggle, and live creatively, giving meaning and value to this life. Reverend Bert wrote on, we should pause to analyze whether we are merely moving about each day or are living a creative life. He said, let us all celebrate the new year with the assurance that by the light of the Buddha, we will navigate through all the heartaches, disappointments, and unfulfilled expectations with the busyness of our everyday lives, and don't let our self-centered views prevent us from seeing the reality of the Dharma. Wow. All these light bulbs were shining on me within the pages of volume 25, issue 1 and 2 of Windward Buddhist Temples, January-February 2022 issue of our newsletter. And I couldn't sit there in the dark. It just wouldn't let me anymore. You know, it takes a whole lot of effort to stay in the dark when there's so much light flooding in. Realizing and allowing for some self-adjustment to focus can make monumental changes in our outlook and in our mood. Like everything, this is not a one-time deal. It's a practice. In the truth of knowing that everything is constantly changing, so is our constant need to recognize our own focus points, which are revealed to us through our own thoughts, our own words, our own actions or inactions, to remind ourselves that we are Bonbu, foolish beings, and so is everyone else. That when we can cling to violations, hurts, past pains, and keep ourselves in the dark despair suffering, or we can keep reminding ourselves of the true nature of life, that all is temporary and constantly changing, that we are not alone, Let our words, Namo Amida Butsu, help us always to realize this. In conclusion, we're reminded, be kind to yourself. Whatever moment you happen to be in, whether it's darkness of despair or in feeling a nice shining light on you and knowing that you're okay, let the light shine in. So I stand here now inside Windward Buddhist Temple with all of you in person. It's truly amazing that this simple weekly practice of gathering together as a Sangha was something that I didn't even consider I was taking for granted. How could we not imagine being here? And then we got to experience not being here. Thank goodness we're here in person. What a wonderful gift that is. The last time I stood here and gave a Dharma message, the temple was empty. Ryan was the sole in-person Sangha member, and I spoke to empty chairs and video equipment. That was August 9th, 2020, 2.5 years ago. It's been a long and sometimes arduous journey. Many things have changed, and many things remain the same. And I am so thankful for Windward Buddhist Temple, the ongoing dedication and courage of our board, our core members, and Reverend Bert, that kept the Sangha and Dharma moving along through uncertain times. I'm thankful to have finally got up the courage a couple of months ago and stepped beyond my COVID fears and back into this wonderful temple. I've been outside for quite some time, but the moment I walked back into this temple, the warm welcome and love that you all poured upon me made me feel like no time had passed at all. It's truly heartwarming to continue to be welcomed and accepted by all of you, just as I am. So please join me in aspiration. We take refuge in Amida Buddha, whose wisdom and compassion is so complete. We are known and accepted just as we are. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jen. Please rise for the Gatha on page 126, Quest of Life, 126 in the Brown Book, and then remain standing for the Nembutsu, which is on page 107.
Namo waking up each day is the first thing we should be grateful for. The Buddha said, each morning we are born again. What we do today is what matters. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo.
Thank you. President Dennis. Any announcements?
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Where is it? Go Bows! Basketball team won last night, and Thursday and Friday nights, the men's volleyball team won. So maybe they'll be number one in the nation again, right? Just a few things, really. Next Sunday is our Ho'onko service. That's a memorial for our leader, our founder, Shinran Shonen. This next Wednesday, spring cleaning comes early. We're going to have the temple windows cleaned. So if you see a lot of workers around here, that's why. So come next Sunday, will be even brighter. Okay. Several Sundays ago, Reverend Barbara talked to us about the passport. Okay, we're going to be passing these out today. Now, if you recall, the purpose of this is for really to visit the other temples in our district. Besides Windward, that would be Jikoen in Kalihi, Moilili, the Hongaji Betsuing, and of course, headquarters. But additionally, there's the Buddhist Studies Center that's located kind of kitty corner from the University of Hawaii. So when you pick this up, of course, you'll fill out your name and information, but as you visit, you'd probably best to contact the office or the minister, schedule a visit, if not an actual Sunday service. They'll acknowledge your visit, and oops, what did I do with my stickers? Did I drop one? Oh. There are different colors. I don't know if you can see them, but for example, we will be using a purple sticker. Nice color, yeah? But when visitors come here, they'll be receiving that purple sticker from us. So for example, if you go to, I don't know which color is which, but when you go to the other temples, they'll put the appropriate color stickers and acknowledge your visit. But when you get that's all stamped with stickers and acknowledge that you visited all the different temples, you get a prize. So I guess when you finished with that last site, wherever you visit, this is a metal straw that you can use. So it's much better than using plastic straws, and yeah. We are trying to be a green Honganji, so it's good to have. Okay, that's what I have. We have bingo today, so you want to mention?
Oh, shucks, he already mentioned it. I was going to ask you, what day is it today? Okay, that's all. So I'll see you next door for bingo. Thanks.
Okay, any other announcements? Oh, by the way, we'll have these passports in the back of the temple. Cynthia, you gonna? Yes. Cynthia will help with the distribution, one per family. Okay, now I want to acknowledge, of course, thank you, Linda, for being our MC, for Prudence, and Cynthia for leading the service. Lisa for playing beautiful music, and I thought that was a very wonderful Dharma message by Jennifer. Thank you very much. Okay, so we're going to have some good refreshments. So if you could turn to page 126 in your red, praising Amina's virtues. We are truly grateful for this wonderful food, a gift of life. May we share its benefit with all beings. As we partake of this food, let us remember Amida Buddha's compassion, which surrounds all people and all forms of life. Namo Amida Butsu. Itadakimasu. Thank you very much.